Greetings, Glitter Gang. It's 2:40 on Thursday, October 1st. We just finished the planning session for the triptych folio or trip folio project. That is our Halloween freebie project. All the videos will be available on YouTube. All the measurements will be given in the videos so you can take notes and make one of your very own. And now that we have figured out the measurements for our three easels, we are going to do something. I don't know. Let me think about it. What will we do? We're going to do the construction. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just start with one, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, so to make one, you need 2 pieces of 8.5 inch by 11 inch chipboard, one piece of 8.5 inch by 3 inch chipboard, and 1 piece of 8.5 inch by 2 inch chipboard. You're going to need black cardstock, and let's do Tyvek as well. Okay, get some Tyvek as well. Have it handy. We're gonna okay. All right, now the most important thing when you're doing an easel like the one that I described, where something has to be able to go around, the most important thing is that the gap in between the 2 pieces has to be 4 times the thickness of the pieces. Okay, so this is, if you do this, everything will be fine. Okay, so what that means is that the gap between when we stick these two, whatever we use to join these 2 pieces together, make a joint here, it's probably going to be Tyvek. Whatever we use has to be 4 times the thickness of the chipboards. So if you do that, it will work perfectly. It will not tear. There will be no problem. No problem. So normally when you make a book, you leave 2, the thicknesses of 2. And so what you can do is you can just stick like the Glitter Gang tool or the perfect trim tool, and usually that works fine. But in this case, they have to, you thought the top piece wasn't going around. No, the top piece is going around. Oh, you want the bottom piece to go around. I see what you're saying. So instead of having the top piece go around and then have this go here and this go here, you're telling me that you want to just pull it out and then have this go behind. I mean, we could do it either way. It's not like it matters. Bloop. It'll work either way. What's more fun? What's more fun? Flipping it around? You guys think about it. Do you want to flip it over the top and attach it on the back, or do you want to pull the back away and flip it under the bottom? So what we would do is we would pull this down, and then you'd have to lift this all the way up. I actually think it's going to work better to flip it around, because if we do it on the front, then the mechanism is you have to know to pull this out, okay? And then you have to lift it up so that you can whip this like around and stick it there. I don't think that's the way to go. I think that's more work. Whereas the other way, we can just pull it off, pull the whole thing under. I think. And it ultimately doesn't matter. But we'll just do the top. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is we have to make a spacer. So you want scrap cardstock for this. Just go in your recycling bin and find yourself some scrap cardstock pieces. Whatever you've got. And we need it to be 4 thick, okay? So this is 8.5 by whatever this is. I'm going to cut this one into 2-inch strips. And then we'll glue them all together. What if it flips to the side? No. If it flips to the side, we have to make it triangular. And that will be annoying to figure out the math on that. If you flip it to the side, or if you flip it over the top, then the inside of the easel needs to be decorated. This is the Creative Grids ruler, and if we don't have any in our shop, usually you can find them on Amazon or at quilting stores, because it's a quilting ruler, and the company only sells to quilting stores normally. And we are not going to carry it anymore, but I don't know. I don't remember if we have any or not. But if we do, they'll be at kathrynscraps.com/shop. Or if not, if we're sold out, then independent quilting stores do have them. And I think I got them from a quilting store that started with an R, like Red Rooster or Red Weasel or something like that. Something red maybe. The rotary trimmer, this is by Olfa, and you can get this at any place quilting supplies are sold typically, so like a Joann's or any kind of fabric store. It's probably not Weasel, but it was some kind of animal that was red. So Red Rooster probably. Maybe someone who knows quilting can help me out here. Okay, so Dawn says she has a Red Rooster near her and they sell many different Creative Grid rulers. So it's probably Red Rooster. So my first guess was right. So forget about the Weasel. Just remember that I said Red Rooster first. They're not, they refuse to forget that I said weasel. So unfair. You couldn't remember because a rooster is a bird and birds have learned to hide from you. That's true. Okay, so what I'm hearing is you don't have to decorate the inside of the easel. So what if we just do a traditional easel and then you don't have to worry about it? Would that make you happier? When it's closed, it'll be much thicker on the bottom than it will be on the top. So it'll look a little funny when it's closed, but it won't be like the end of the world or whatever. Barbara Jean says she's just going to remember how fast I said no about the about the thing on the side. Yeah. Traditionally, when we have done anything involving triangles in the past, it hasn't been popular. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Bev says no, let's do it your way. Okay. All right. So the concession I'll make to y'all is that I'll make it go underneath. That way you don't have to decorate the insides of your things. Okay. So we're compromising. This is a compromise. I recommend mine was 3 inches, but the one that I recommend getting, the Creative Grids ruler I recommend the most, is the 6.5 inch by 12.5 inch, I believe. That's this one. Because since it's 6.5 inches, you can mark anywhere on a 12 by 12 with this ruler. So this is the one that works the best. Well, is the most versatile. I have also the 3 because sometimes I just want a smaller ruler. But if you're only going to get one, like you can get the 3.5 and the 6.5, but if you're only going to get one, get the 6.5 by 12.5. That way you can mark anywhere on a 12 by 12. And then I also have the 18.5 or something like that, so that I can, I have a much bigger one that I can use on craft text. But, you know, that's not, I almost never use that one, so I don't recommend it. Like you may see me pull it out, I don't know, once every couple years. Okay, so this is my spacer. It's 4 thicknesses of chipboard. That's important. Bev says she doesn't want to compromise. This is great, great. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take Tyvek, I think is what we'll make the shell of it out of. So what I want to do, no, I don't want to make the shell of it out of Tyvek. What do I want to do? Do I want to wrap these in black cardstock and then just connect them with Tyvek pieces and then hide the Tyvek somehow? Or do I want to wrap them in Tyvek? Candy says that's how I was going to do it anyway. You were going to do it on the bottom. Well, just remember, you can always do whatever you want because there are no scrapping police and I can't come to your house and rifle through your shelves and check to see if you're doing things the way I said to do them. So Well, the difference is it might be easier to do it with the whole thing out of Tyvek because I have a big sheet of it. Because I could go like this, like this, like this, like this. And I could just make one whole, I could just do like one continuous sheet because I have a roll. And then the gaps in between would be stronger, you know, because they're made out of Tyvek. Okay, however, comma, what we could do is we could still wrap it in multiple sheets of cardstock that form a continuous sheet of cardstock and just put Tyvek in the joints so that we are reinforcing the Tyvek. So I think I'll do that because I think most of you probably have smaller pieces of Tyvek and that way it's easier. But just know that if you have a giant roll of Tyvek, you can make this whole thing out of Tyvek. But I'm going to do it out of cardstock, reinforced with Tyvek in the joints. And this little skeleton looking, this little bug looking thing is the spacer. Okay. So I'm going to cut a few, I'm going to cut three, wait, not three. 1, 2, 3. No, it is 3. How many gaps are there? Gap 1, gap 2, gap 3. There's 3 gaps. So I'm going to cut 3 3-inch strips of the Tyvek. 3 3-inch strips of the Tyvek. I think the chaotic energy of this project is good for Halloween. You know? You can get huge sheets of Tyvek like this by buying a roll of Tyvek, usually from an office supply, or not an office, like a commercial packaging place like Uline. So yeah, you can get a roll of it from Uline. Okay, so I have some Tyvek pieces. Is this gonna work? Hello? Oh, I thought I heard someone talking to me. Hello? Oh, I'm talking to myself on the computer. Wow, spooky. Spooky. I heard a voice and it was me. The stream is haunted. All right. It was the Halloween spirit. It's the spirit of Halloween. Okay. So, we need, for our cardstock, we're going to need 3 pieces of our cardstock. And we are going to leave it 12 inches, but cut it to 10.5. So I'm going to cut it to 10.5 on the, you know, with the grain. So the 10.5 inch cut is going with the grain. And we're going to need 3 of these. I think what happened is I put something down so that it unmuted my computer. so that I was hearing the stream again. But that was definitely weird. Thought someone was talking to me. All right. I'm going to start with just one. All right. And with a white gel pen, just so it's easier for you to see, I'm going to draw a line 1 inch in from this short edge and 1 inch in from the 2 long edges. And these are guidelines to help me get my paper straight, or get my chipboard straight. Okay. Then I'm going to take a piece of Tyvek and I'm going to glue it here. Okay. And I want about 1 inch. So I'm just going to put a ruler here to act as a guideline. And then I'm going to put down my glue. And then I'm going to move my ruler once I have my first line because I don't want to get glue on my ruler. This is Perfect Paper Adhesive Matte. Priya says, don't forget your silicone mat. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to clean this up. Okay. And then the rest of it, from like here to here, I'm going to cover with the glue. And we're going to stick my next piece down. All right, and this is how we're going to get our continuous cardstock piece. Nah. No space between, correct. Because we don't need to put the space between the Tyvek and the cardstock sheets. We just need to put the space between the chipboard sheets. See how much this glue can ooze? Okay. Flip it over, clean it up. Okay. I'm going to set this to the side for just a moment. And let's see. My desk is pretty clean. All right. Yeah, I am going to do all three so they can dry. I just want to make sure before I do all three that my joints are going to be where there's Tyvek. Okay, so for this, I want to make sure that when I put this down, there'll be Tyvek. I don't like, here I can show you. When I stick these, I don't like, I mean, that's enough. See, what I don't like with this is how little there is. I would like there to be an inch or so. And so I think the way to do it is I think I need to cut 2 inches off my cardstock so that I can add another 12 by 12. So that's what I'll do. This is to make the easel. So I'm going to cut 2 inches off this, and that way the seam will be away from the edge. And then I can do another one. And yeah, we're gonna make, there's 3 easels, so we have to make 3 of these things. So, that's what we're gonna do. All right. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we don't need these right now. And let me get out my mat so I'm not making as gross of a mess as I was. Okay, so we're gonna do what we just did again. So now remember, this piece is 10.5 by 10 now. 10.5 by 10 now. So I can see through my silicone mat to see where my lines are, so I can still line up an inch. Gonna get another piece of Tyvek and stick it down. Okay, and then this is all on the inside, so you don't need to worry about the glue getting, like, what's happening is the glue is picking up the dye from the black cardstock and making a mess. It would be 3 10.5 by 10 and 6 10.5 by 12 probably is what we're going to end up with. let me finish doing them. Then I'll know for sure once I finish this one. But I think it's going to be so the chipboard is correct. The chipboard measurement just remains to be seen if this is going to be correct. All right, so once I've got that down where it's not moving and it's not oozing anymore, I'm going to take another 12-inch piece. And it's going to go here like so. And now I'm just going to grab my chipboards again and lay them all out to make sure I'm going to have enough room. And I will have enough room. I will have enough room. So we're going to cut some off this one on the end, but ultimately. All right, here we go. Okay, so we'll get first thing we want to do is burnish with our bone folder. The reason we burnish with the bone folder is because this particular adhesive needs to be in a sheet between the things it's gluing together. To work best, to be its very best self. And then once I feel pretty confident about the first side, I'm just gonna clean up the other side. Flip it back over, make sure everything's still stuck down on this side, and we're just going to keep burnishing this side until it lays completely flat. Okay, so this is one piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you just visually what the thing is going to look like. All right. Actually, let me flip it over to the inside. All right, so this is how it's going to work. All right. The first piece goes here, like so. All right. Then we take our spacer, we put it there, and we do the second piece. So that goes like so. Then we take our spacer, we do our third piece. That goes there like so. Then we take our spacer, we do our last piece. Okay, and that goes there like so. All right, so then we just need like an inch hanging off this end. So this piece is not going to be the full 12 either. So let's see. Ultimately, we're going to lose about 4 inches off this one. It's going to be around 8. This one's going to be around 8. So we need 3 that are 10.5 by 12, 3 that are 10.5 by 10, and 3 that are 10.5 by 8. Okay? That's what your cardstocks are for this. And that's for all 3 easels. Okay? So let's go get the big book back so I can write that down. All right. Alrighty, so it'll be the card, and it's going to be 3 that are 12 inches by 10.5 inches, 3 that are 10 inches by 10.5 inches, and 3 that are 8 inches by 10.5 inches. So that's the cardstock for the easel. I'm going to put a little E under each of these. Okay. So I know that I'm talking about easels. All right. We're going to need additional cardstock too to like seal it all up once it's done. Those pieces, you'll need 9 of, or let's see, you'll need 6 to cover the 8.5 by 11 pieces. So those 6 will be 8.25 by 10.75. You'll need 3 that are 8.25 by 2.75, and you'll need 3 that are 8.25 by 1.75, and those will cover the oh, and somewhere in here we need this and the magnets. This is where the magnets will get, you know, we're gonna have to put the magnets in here as well. Before we glue it down, we're gonna have to put our magnets. So, but yeah, there's the current cardstock measurements to make all 3 easels. So this is all the chipboard for all 3 easels. This is the craft text, and then this is the cardstock for all 3 easels. Yeah, just go ahead and like write magnets here, because you need the magnets here at this point, because the magnets go in between the chipboard and the cardstock. That's where these magnets are going to end up. So they're going to be part of the easel construction process. Okay. All right. So now that I have the measurements, let me do a couple things here. I'm going to trim this down. Let me put the cardstock to the side. Okay, or the chipboard to the side. And I'm going to cut 4 inches off this last one. Ugh. Working with giant things is always fun. I'm cutting 4 inches off. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go lay it on the floor. All right, so I'm going to go lay this on the floor somewhere where I'm not going to step on it so it can dry. And we'll make 2 more. Construction from scratch is fascinating. I think you can learn a lot from seeing someone work out a problem, you know? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the cardstock for my remaining pieces so that they all start at the correct size. So that's 2. I have 4 left of the 10.5 by 12. I have 2 left of the 10.5 by 10, and I have 2 left of the 10.5 by 8. Okay, so I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to be 10.5 by 12. Okay, 2 10.5 by 10. And 2 10.5 by 8. Okay, so to make my next one, I need one of each, right? I cut too many of the big ones. Candy says, at least when you're working, you have a clean desk. Think of those of us who craft amongst the clutter. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to do that glue thing when you're down to like working in the 1 12 by 12 square of clear space. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Okay, so I'm going to make one from start to finish. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my marks for lining up my chipboard, and that way will be all set there. So that's 1 inch in from one of the short ends on the 12-inch piece, 1 inch in from the same edge on the 8-inch piece, and then on this, so this will go like that, and then on all the remaining pieces we're going to make a line running all the way across the top and a line running all the way across the bottom. And this will just be a guideline for where to put your chipboard to keep it from getting really super askew or something like that. Wait, is that? Yeah, that's right. Whew. This one's hard because it's almost the same size because it's 10.5 by 10. All right, and now all we have to do is glue them together with our Tyvek joints. So simple. This one's probably going to go so much more smoothly than the other one. I'm just going to be like, what the heck was that last time? All right. Dun 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 dun. Is this the cover for your album? No, Sandra, your album is done. Did you not see the, I guess you didn't see the cover. Look, it has a composition book cover. But yeah, that's totally finished. Where is it? Why hasn't it shown up yet at my house? Isn't it cute? All right, so I'm looking through my silicone mat and lining this up with one of the lines. And then I'm going to put my glue down. Then I'm going to get my paper towel ready. All right, Tyvek. First pass with the Tyvek, I'm going to do with the paper towel. I claimed it before you. Is it finders keepers? Well, look, possession is 9/10 of the law. And who has it in their possession? Huh? Huh? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Outsmarted. All right. Well, that went pretty smoothly. So now we just connect the next piece. Poor Sandra. I know, poor Sandra. It's really bad. It hurts so much. Just to have your album stolen from you like this. And then to be taunted. Oh no! The composition book label is included in the album basics guide. So you can change the name of an album. It is possible. That glue is working your nerves. Can you use tape? Tape doesn't work that great with Tyvek. But you could use Scotch Quick Dry and it wouldn't be nearly this messy. So if you're worried about the mess, don't use this glue, just use Scotch Quick Dry and it won't be messy like this. But Tyvek, tape peels off Tyvek pretty easily. Although it would be taped on both sides, so it might be okay. All right, that's done. So now we just have to attach the third piece. I don't know if it's just me. This one seems like it went together a lot easier. Sure, I'll regret saying that at some point today. That is the way it goes. The first one's like, I will fight you to the death. Nothing you can do will stop me from destroying your day. And then the second one's like, yeah, that's cool. Anything else I can do? Okay, Sandra, I'm sorry to read that. I am very sorry to read that. Let's all continue to keep Sandra in our thoughts and prayers. As she continues her battle. Until she is triumphant. All right, add your last piece. So glue. And then we're going to add our last piece of cardstock. Then I'm just gonna tidy all the glue off this, tidy all the glue off the back, and then I'm gonna go set this aside on the carpet to dry. And before I do that, I'm gonna just do a little burnishing here. Because they don't want to stay shut. I wonder if I just taped them shut. All right, let's do that. Let's just run the tape. Yeah, this was a bad idea. Don't do this. We'll have this one as a test one. Can I erase, delete your name? I did put the label I used in the album basics guide, Sandra, so you could make your own and print it out and stick it over. So yeah, you can erase me. It's not impossible. Okay. All right, number 2 done. Let's make number 3. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so much glue on my fingers. Sandra's so excited she can erase me. Yeah, you technically can't erase me, but you could cover me up with a different label. All right, now, this is the third one. And okay, so we've got all of those inked, and we are ready to glue again. We're ready to glue again. Ready to glue again. All right, so just gonna line this up with one of the lines on my desk. Then I'm gonna line my ruler up with a line an inch back from that. Then I'm gonna throw my glue at myself, and it's gonna roll all the way under my camera stand. So then I have to climb under my desk. These are important steps, don't leave them out. Get a paper towel. Pick up your ruler, clean any glue off your ruler. Get one of your Tyveks. Stick it down. Burnish. Wipe the glue. Then wipe the glue again. burnish again, flip it over, clean up the glue, then gonna glue this edge, scribbly wibbly. Scribbly wibbly is a technical term. Okay. Try and keep this nice and tidy. Okay. All right, so then we need to add our last piece. Just exact same thing. Line it up with one of the mat's lines, and then line your ruler up with a line an inch over. Mary, are you going to Last Crops Plus? That was a bummer to read about. I just saw that yesterday on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I don't have a Tyvek for this. Okay. Fine, I'll just cut another piece. I have read the Traveling Cat Chronicles. The only book from October that I haven't read is Master and Margarita. But I've read Uva, sorry, and the Cat Chronicles. If you're wondering, the Traveling Cat Chronicles, I didn't rate that as highly as I rated A Man Called Uva, and the main reason why is the Traveling Cat Chronicles it does have important underlying messages and themes, except they're really kind of obvious, and the way that they were handled in the text, they felt more cliched than they felt like an exploration of those ideas. And the reason why, I think, is because the Traveling Cat Chronicles is less than 300 pages, so there was just like a lot less room to kind of explore some of these ideas, or maybe they tried to explore too many. But you know, it's not a bad book. I gave it 4 stars, so I don't want it to sound like it's a bad book. It's just, to me, it felt a little like more on the cliche side and less on the like exploration side, whereas I felt like Uva fell more on the exploration side. Like, one of the big themes of the Traveling Cat Chronicles is the journey is more important than the destination, which of course is an important life lesson that you need to learn over and over and over again your entire life. But it's also like a road trip book, so it's just obvious. It's just like, you know what I mean? So, you know, the other thing, and I've literally never had this problem before, I did cry at the end of Traveling Cat Chronicles, though. So, like, I was moved. Like, it's, like I said, it's not a bad book. It's just not like, you know, I just put it below A Man Called Uva. And I cried at the end of A Man Called Uva also. So, you know, like, be prepared. All the books were tearjerkers. So, I guess. All right. So, that's the last one glued. So let me take it over to its drying spot. And bring the first one back over. And well, there's a Swedish one, and then Tom Hanks is going to be Uva in an upcoming English language one. But I don't think that one's out yet. Yeah, Uva is an emotional roller coaster. The Cat Chronicles is a little bit of, I mean, the Cat Chronicles, part of what I was just about to say this and then I got distracted, but part of the problem I had with the Cat Chronicles, and it wasn't like a huge problem, you know, it's not like a deal breaker or anything, but the translation had so much British English in it, like, I mean, just like loaded with slang and stuff like that, that I found I had trouble thinking of it as a Japanese book, that I was reading a Japanese book. That was part of it. And I've read tons of translations by British people in the past that have had British spellings or British English or whatever. So I don't know what my problem was specifically with this one, but I think it had to do with how casual Nana speaks. Like, he uses a lot of slang and he speaks so casually and conversationally. I think it was just like the intersection of the original text and the translator, just something about it. I felt a little dissonance. And that's like easily a me problem, and that's not why I took a star away from it. Because it wasn't like the end of the world or anything, but like I had a lot of trouble in the very beginning trying to get into it. And like when he, like I would picture I would picture like British school kids running around like British country gardens and stuff. I don't know. That, like I said, that's like a me. I think it's more a me problem than anything else. But I've not ever had that happen to me when I was reading a book in translation before. It was the first time. So that, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, just that it was, you know, it has all the messages are right. You know, it's very sweet. It's very short. It's very wholesome. It's moving. You're not gonna, you know, it's not bad. It's just, you know, it wasn't a 5-star, knock it out of the park, like totally impressive in every way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, 4 stars is a pretty good rating from me. The book I'm reading right now, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to give it 3 stars or 2 stars. I think I'll give it 3. But I just finished How Much of These Hills is Gold. That's a good book. That's a good book. It's a really interesting, like, twist on the Western. And it focuses on the twilight of the gold rush from a Chinese perspective. So, and a Chinese American perspective. But it has all the Western vibes. Like, it's like, kind of like if you took like The Good Earth and like The Grapes of Wrath and like any classic Western where it's like one small group of people against a larger hostile group of people, and you put that all in a blender, and it was just something very new and different. So that was really interesting. I'm glad I read that one. And then Judy's already working ahead to the November books. She's reading Delicious. Delicious looked very interesting. A lot of the November books looked really interesting to me, so I may read most of them. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, as I'm running my hands over it, I'm feeling that it's still very wet. So what I'm going to propose is that we wrap up a little bit early today so that the 3 wrappers can have some time to dry. And then tonight when we start, we'll start with how to wrap the chipboard. So I think that's what we'll do. So I've got so I'm going to put this piece under my mat so it can flatten a little bit in between the shows. And then we're gonna I suspend all my holds on Libby. You guys know how to do that? I'll show you. That'll be the last thing we do. Okay. Where am I? Libby. That way you can control when you read books. Now I don't need a hold. I need to put a book on hold. Tags. Okay. So let's say I want to put the Heart's Invisible Furies on hold, but I want to read it when I want to read it. Then what you do, this is in the Libby app. You place your hold, okay, and then right there where you see suspend hold, I suspend all my holds for 180 days, automatically. And then what I do is once they say available soon, if I'm ready to read them, then I unsuspend their hold. And what happens is if you have the book on hold and you are number 1 in line and your hold is suspended, they just give it to whoever is number 2 in line until you take it off. So that's how I will. So like I've got Peter Matheson's Shadow Country on hold. That'll be on hold forever because I don't know when I'm going to get to that, but I want it to be available. Yeah, you can also just tell them to deliver it later if it comes in and you're not ready. But like I have The School of Essential Ingredients. That's one of the books on a 6-week hold. So hopefully it comes in. 4 weeks on fried green tomatoes. And then whatever the third one is. So that, so I usually have 40 things on holds. I can have 40 holds. So I usually have 40 things on hold pretty much. I try to leave myself, I try not to go more than 38 so that if there's something I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that, then I can always put it on there without taking something off. You can only have 8? That's terrible. I hate hearing that. I would collapse. I would have a meltdown. That would be so, I wouldn't be able to deal with only 8 holds. I would not. I would not be able to take it. And I free up space on my hold list. Like everything I put on hold on Libby, I'll go check on Hoopla and see if Hoopla has the audiobook because you don't have to wait with Hoopla. So, but like, yeah. All right. Well, so I have this. You can check 12 things out at once. I can only have 30, I think. Let's see what my card says. Yeah, I can have 30 loans and 40 holds. So, well, I can have 30 loans and 40 holds with my county. With Fairfax County, I could have 10 loans and 15 holds, but everyone, as we've already discussed, that's useless. So I would never. But yeah. Yeah, one thing I've learned from this year is that the investment in digital collections library to library is like, there can be a really huge difference. So, okay, so this month's book club, A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. And if you liked it, if you read it already and you liked it, look at his other stuff. He has a new book that just came out called Anxious People. And also I've heard really good things about Beartown. And I've also read And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. And that was very moving as well. And then the books for next month are Delicious by Ruth Reichel. Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fanny Flagg. And let me get this right. The School of Essential Ingredients by Erica Bauermeister. And the theme for November is food. So every book has something to do with food. All right. So we're going to let all of our sleeves dry, and we'll come back tonight and we will wrap all our chipboard and make our tripods. So that'll be the next video. So I'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time tonight, which is 5 hours from now. We're going to make our tripods. They're going to look amazing. We're going to stick them to our craft text, and then all we have to do is like decorate them. So, well, I looked at my library to see if you could all join my library, and you can, but it's $120 a year. So, it's not a better deal than the Brooklyn Library still. Still, I don't think we haven't found a library that beats the Brooklyn Library for bang for your buck. So, all right. I'll be back at Eastern USA time, 9 p.m. 5 hours from now, whatever time it is where you are now. I'll be back in 5 hours. This is a free class. Delicious by Ruth Reichel. It's going to be on YouTube. The parts are going to come out, you know, over the course of the week. All the parts that we filmed today will be out before next Thursday, so you can be caught up. Those of you who have the archives, everything's going to be in the archives today. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to make a fun Halloween project. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll see you all tonight. Bye now.